What's up there, YouTube? Here we go. It's Opie coming at you live from ATL, Georgia. We just got done with the buddy fight. Well, we ain't done yet, but we're in the middle of it. We got a couple people left in it. We got the top 8 here. We got a match showing from you. Now, this isn't from Team Plays for Days, but this is from a very interesting cat we met. This is Phillip Harris, everybody.
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right, Phillip Harris is going to show y'all what he played to get into top 8. Phillip, hit him with that deck profile real quick.
Alright, man. So what I was playing was Darkness Dragon World with the buddy Gallows. It was pretty cool, and basically I was thinking of how to basically disrupt the meta, because we know the meta is all about wall decks and multi-attacking, and the deck is supposed to gain life, draw you a card, and shadow dive, basically ignoring all your opponent's creatures. So get right into the deck.
The shadow dive, though, guys. The meta is strong with this one.
So basically, of course, with the buddy, we have 4 Gallows. His ability is that he can only be called once per turn. But, what else does he do? I forget. He has Shadow Dive, and the cool ability, which is the ability that I've used the most, is whenever a death deals damage, I gain a life and draw a card. That's the whole point of the deck, is to keep gaining life and drawing a card till your opponent quits.
Busted cards are busted.
Moving on with other size zeros, this is another Shadow Dive card. Basically gains you gauge, and the deck is very gauge heavy because, of course, with Darkness Dragon World, I'm running Deathground Invitation, and there's a side 1 that I'll be going into, which actually helps you turtle and helps you stop your opponent's attacking, and it makes it very difficult for them to do anything. Moving on to side 1s, I have Daredevil Dark Prisoner. The reason why I like to run this guy is because I run him at 3, is because his skill is pay 1 gauge, he has Shadow Dive, and that he cannot be nullified if he's attacking alone. So basically, working in conjunction with Death Gallows, you're automatically going to gain 1 life and draw 1 card. So it's basically plussing in itself, and you're dealing 2 damage, and with all the Death monsters and Shadow Dive monsters, the power is 0. But with this guy, it's 5k, so if you need to attack a creature, you can go ahead and pop him instead.
We got Daredevils making their appearance finally.
Alright, the next one is a little bit special. It's Bone Master Garrus.
Team Plays for Days.
So I run this guy at 4, and this guy is really, really special. So basically what he does is counter, you rest him, and you choose one of your opponent's creatures, and you swing at them with it. So let's just say you're fighting Chaos, right? And Gear God's swinging at you for 3 crit.
Why wouldn't he?
So basically, you rest him, he deals 3 crit to himself.
Ooh!
And it's like, oh, okay, but the cool thing is you pay a gauge, restand him, and do it all over again. So this card is automatically giving you 4 to 6 damage, depending on what build you're fighting, and if the creature has 2 to 3 crit. So basically, it gives you attack for free, and why not?
They're so dark, you can barely see them. They trying to sneak.
The next size one that I have is Bone Laborer Saburai. So basically what Saburai is the guy that I love to turtle with. He has Shadow Dive, 1 crit, but the cool thing is his counter. His counter says that whenever a creature's attacking alone, you pay 2 gauge and you redirect the attack. Now, I don't know about you, but this seems like the ultimate turtle, and you can basically get creatures off the board without even trying. So let's just say like you're fighting Chaos and they swing at their side. Okay, well, you know, you can basically pay 2 gauge and redirect the attack to the other side, so basically you're destroying their own creatures, and it's only for 2 gauge, and the best part is it's not once per turn. So if you have the gauge, just go ahead and use it and burn it, because you're not going to use it for anything else. Moving on.
Labor shall rise.
That's fine. We got Gate Gilder DT. So the reason why I run him is because, let's just say I don't have the item pin, which I'll describe later, and that I need something out of the drop. Since the deck is mostly Shadow Dive, and if everything's in the drop since you're paying so much gauge, he basically is another toolbox card for a gauge. And so you can, depending on the situation, grab either your Shadow Dive monster that has Soul Guard, or, you know, any creature with Shadow Dive, or Gallows, which is the main build. You just grab Gallows, and that he has 2 crit. So Shadow Dive 2 crit, procs Gallows. It's all good. Moving on to size 2s now. I only got 1 size 2. It is Gate Galder Malbo. Sorry for mispronouncing the names.
Mr. Gate Guider.
It's basically, what is it? 6/1 4K. Pay 1 gauge. Has has Shadow Dive, which is the most important thing. But the key thing, it has double attack. So it's a size 2. So the optimal setup is you put this in the side, put something in the middle, size 1, and have Gallus on the side. So that automatically is going to gain you 4 life and have you draw 4 cards. So a little something I keep in there, and it has power. So if I need to get rid of creatures instead of dealing damage, I go ahead and do it.
I love this card. I run Gate Guiders here and there. Absolutely love this card.
Yeah, that's why I run him. He's loved that. Now for size 3s, I have this guy. I usually run him at 2 because if I go first, I love to go into this guy. Because basically, you defend yourself because they have Soul Guard. He's pay 2 gauge, put the top card of your deck into its soul, has Shadow Dive, and the cool thing is that if there's a creature in the center, he gains 5k and a crit. Yes, just double checking that. And so basically, you just use this with Gallows, and if you have another size 0, like the one that gains you a gauge, or if you were blessed and lucky enough to get 2 Gallows on the field, then you're just drawing cards for days and gaining life.
He said get 2 of them.
Now,
He's thinking of the plays. Oh hell no! You don't run that ass card. I know you ain't about to show me death mode.
so I run Death Mode Dive because because if it's in the beginning of the game, I'd like to run him. The lifelink 2 is consequential about the life gain that you're about to get. And so it basically fuels your drop. So if he gets popped, you take the lifelink 2, you'll be able to survive for a little bit. And then you get Gallows, all your deaths in there. And then when you get the pin, the item I'll talk about earlier, everything's open to you. Or deity, you pay 1 gauge and you bring anything else out. So it gives you a lot of opportunities.
I just want to say, I watched this man play almost every one of his games. Plus, I test played with him last night. I never saw one damn Death Mode, and he done snuck it in on me.
Had to, man, had to. The next one is Darkness Rune. So I said that the deck was very gauge heavy, and so I like this card because it's pay 1 life and counter speed. I can put the top 2 cards in my deck into the gauge, or I forget what this guy does. Destroy
I just played it because it was pretty. I didn't know what it did. It just got me to top 8.
True. I remove a soul from 1 creature without destroying it. Also, I can choose to destroy 1 size 1 monster. So, depending on your situation, if you're fighting, let's say, Thunder Empire, and they have a size 1 that you don't like, the guy that says...
All of them?
Yeah, basically all of them. And you basically pop him, or if you have a soul, something in the soul that's bothering you, what was it? There was this Star Dragon World card that prevented me from dropping from the soul. So basically choose this and remove something from the soul. It's okay, it's all good. And for the gauge, I mean, it's +2, pay a life. I mean, you're gonna get it right back with Gallus, so why not use it? Now going back into spell cards, this is the bread and butter. If you have this, it's almost guaranteed that nothing is going to die on your end. It's a set spell. Pay 1 gauge, and all of your death characters cannot be destroyed nor return the hand by your opponent's card effects. So basically they have to waste an attack throwing the card over. And that's a great way of turtling because they can't get rid of your center, they can't blow up Gallus, and basically your creatures are safe, and we all love safe creatures.
I love my creatures being safe.
Next one is Devil's Stigma. I use this because sometimes you don't have your protection of spells and they're going to get run over. I mean, your protection of monsters, and when you're vulnerable, you can cast this card. Because let's say something has Penetrate. You can just cast this over it, destroy your center monster, and gauge 2 and gain a life. So it'll help me out plenty of times, and also it fuels your size 1 card that basically redirects any attack. So it's good. Basically, you play this and then you get a free redirect. So it works almost like an attack.
Sure it does.
The next one is also bread and butter. Is Deathground Invitation. Almost every Star Dragon World player needs to run this. It's a set spell that basically says.
There you go.
So it's a set spell that basically says your opponent cannot call their creatures from drop zone, and that's counter speed once per turn that you can pay 2 gauge and rest the creature. So, for a great example, when you're fighting bots and he has triple attack and they go into combat, pay 2 gauge, he's not standing anymore.
Bots, you sleepy a little bit.
And so it helps you fuel to get to the cards that you need, and hopefully that you can end your opponent before then. Continuing on,
I hate Thunder Empire.
I do too.
Thunder Fang, Thunder Empire, both of them.
I have Gate Walter. Now, really, to be honest, I really don't know why I run this card. The only time that I tried to use that I got penalized for it. But if you get it off and you have a lot of gauge and your opponent can't really stop you from doing anything, pay 3 gauge, go into your drop zone, get 2 different sizes, and you get another attack phase. So basically what you can do is grab one of the puppets again and one of another size 0 and basically just keep swinging if you have the gauge. And so it gives you a push if you have the gauge. If not, charge it away because it really is not needed, but it's helpful.
Card is too good.
Now continuing on with spells that I have, Midnight Shade. I mean, it's the basic attack null, and I don't need to have an open center, so it's magnificent, and I run full play set. So
That's what's up.
not too much said there. Now the next card that I have is actually Enemy Wall. Now I love this card because basically it says counter speed when you were being attacked on when your opponent attacks on their turn. You play this. They mill the top 2 cards. If one of those is a creature, you nullify the attack and gain a gauge. Now, as you've seen before, the whole purpose is to gain gauge advantage so that you can stop their attacks. Because we all know the meta is either a big wall or 7 attacks plus 13. So, why not?
It's true.
I run Deadly Boost. Deadly Boost is a good card because I find myself in certain situations where I have no gauge and that I need the gauge. I mean, the downside is that the card skills actually counter speed, put the top 3 cards into your gauge, then at the end of that turn, you remove all the gauge and put it into your drop zone. So I really use this when I'm at 0 or I hold it to where my opponent thinks I have no gauge, then I cast it, then gain 3 so that I can continue to use my abilities, whether to redirect, whether to rest, you know, opportunities are abound.
Do you want to show the side deck or no? You don't have to show the side deck if you don't want to.
No, I'm going to show the side deck.
You want to show people the text? Alright, let's show people the text.
I'm going to show them.
Let's show them.
So, going into items, so basically, this guy, he doesn't have equip cost. You discard a card and rest it, and you move a creature anywhere. So let's just say you have a Thor, which requires you to be the center. Oh, look. You play this, discard a card, you rest it. I mean, you're going to get a card because Gallows is going to draw you tons of cards. So you rest it, you ditch a card, and oh look, a Thor's in the right lane now. I mean, it doesn't make a difference, but you stop some of their abilities, or let's say we're fighting bots and you put bots in the center. Well, then they can't attack with their item, and I know guarantee they're not going to get removed bots just to get the item open, the center item open. So it works really well.
Some people might be ballsy enough to remove a bot, so I don't know. Ballsy or stupid, I don't know what to call them.
So, Creme de la Creme. Death Pen. This
I thought
guy's
that was
amazing.
the name. Creme de la Creme. I was about to be like, that's a dope name.
no, I wish. This guy basically says, as soon as you get him, if they attack Gallows, it's a wasted attack. Like you just, it's pay a life, which you're gonna get because of Gallows. So you pay a life, you rest it, then you get any 0. Now, if you've been paying attention, you realize that majority of the monsters have 0. So this card is really techy. So, oh, they destroyed Gallows? Rest it, grab Gallows. Oh, you have a ton of gauge, you need to redirect attack? Grab that card. I mean, there's just so many possibilities with this. And I really don't attack with it, but there was that one opportunity that had an open center and I can deal 2 crit. I dealt 2 crit. And so that's basically the main board. The only problems that this deck has is against Hero World, and what recently knocked me out of top 8 was Purgatory Knights, because they attacked a lot and they destroyed the card, and so I really couldn't get over that.
Yo, I don't ever want to hear you say that you and Purgatory Knights were bad. That match was good.
I mean, it was good, but it was challenging.
I was on the edge of my seat the entire match. I'm gonna tell y'all, this guy, this Phillip Harris kid, he is nothing to sleep on. Watch out for this man in the future. He's going into the sideboard, y'all. He don't care. He ain't ever scared.
I gotta help my people, man. Gotta help them. So, Darkness, Black Dragon Shield. I mean, it's a staple. If you have an open center, you nullify that. Well, you don't nullify. It's like you reduce the damage to 0 and you gain a life. I mean, sometimes you're going to be in a pinch where they destroy your center, whether you like it or not. And then it's like, oh, well, you can slide these in to get more attack nulls. I mean, to reduce the damage to 0 and gain more life. For an example, Element Zeta. You can play this against Element Zeta to reduce the 4 damage. Or, like, you know, when they impact you, you can play this card if it can be responded to, gain 1 life, and survive a little bit. I use it more of an attack null. Not attack null, but it works like an attack null.
I mean, it is an attack note, right?
I mean, in its own right, it's an attack.
It's a shield.
Then this guy. So, love this guy.
Stupid pumpkin.
Side him in because you don't know what your matchup's going to be. But I'll just briefly explain. Act. You rest him. If your opponent does not have a center monster, choose one card in their drop zone and then put it in the center. And it's a creature that has 6k attack, 2 crit, and 6k defense. But the best thing is it's a size 0, so they cannot side it out. So I was playing against a Thunder Empire user and sided this card in after getting OTK'd game 1. Put this in, shut her completely down. She couldn't do anything. All her spells didn't work, and I was just sitting there like, alright, Shadow Dive. And the cool thing is, Shadow Dive, you don't care, you just keep going underneath of them, so.
Poor Melody. Oh my god.
No, this one. This
He said she, and I knew who it was.
So, this guy is the equivalent of the other bone puppets. You rest him and they attack themselves. So, if you know they have a bunch of creatures that have high crit, you can slide him in and take some of the other zeros out, like the one that gains you a gauge. I usually slide them out for this, and also the impact card, because if I can't use the impact, I might as well use this. So there are a couple times when I was playing Chaos and I OTK'd them with their own card without even actually swinging at them. And so it's an additional puppet just in case they have high crit and you use it against themselves.
That's what's up. Kill them with their own shit. That's what I like to do.
And then last of the sideboard, I actually have no idea what this card does. It's Jet Black Grim Reaper Gaito.
I don't know what it does. I've just never played it. I never even sided it. I don't even know.
That's true. I never sided it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
And I never used it. But it was just there just in case you were fighting a bunch of creatures.
Oh god, it's too pretty. It's so pretty you can't see it.
You pay 1 life, and when it swings, you target something for destruction. I gotta read it myself.
It's so shiny and so golden, I can't even get a decent...
Oh, okay.
This card's just good. Okay, guys, there you go. Look at your shiny
It's so good
card.
that I even remember. I don't even remember.
I don't remember playing it. Nope.
Okay, so it's pay 1 life. You target a creature. When you target the creature, if it's destroyed, they mail cards equal to the size of that monster. Then you gain gauge equal to what they discarded. So,
oh, that's why you played it against Chaos.
No, yeah, so you can play this against Chaos, so you can poke at their little ones and blow up their board, and you gain the gauge. And we all know that we love gauge. When you have 2 Invocation of Death grounds, or you have the side 1 card that redirects attack, I mean, this is golden, man. This one got me top 8, so hope you learn from the best.
All right. Let's hit them up a little bit. What were your matchups? Just tell us the rounds and what you played.
Okay, so I'll just start with round 2. Round 1 wasn't really interesting. Round 2 I fought against, I think it was Wild Spirit Ancient World. Not really sure what it did. I read the cards.
Wild Dragons?
Probably.
Oh.
I'm not sure. So round 2 was interesting. Then I'll get to the good stuff. Round 3 and 4. Round 3, I fought round 3 I didn't fight Chaos. Round 3, I fought Thunder Empire.
Thunder Empire, yeah.
And so, game 1, set my little board up, called Gallows in the front, because once you have Gallows in your hand and you buddy call him and swing with him, you get 2 life and draw a card. As soon as he goes to drop, there's so many ways to fetch him, so that's really good. But she destroyed it and basically OTK'd me game 1. So I was like, okay. That's not too bad or anything.
Way to go, Mel.
Game 2, I sided in, the lovely 0 that you rested, put something in the center, and then her turn completely stopped. And then also, too, I had Death Ground, so she had bots, and I rested bots, and she just passed her. And I was just shadow diving for 1. The game was pretty long, but when you're gaining that much advantage, you might as well just keep going. Game 3 was sort of similar, put something in her center. She couldn't do too much to stop it. So, I mean, it was a good game overall. I enjoyed it. Going into round 4, I fought against Chaos. Now, I got OTK'd in Chaos game 1. Made me a little nervous. Then, I had to play extremely smart game 2 and game 3. Sided out all the cards that I needed. That pay 1 life, gain 2 gauge. Sided him out for the Darkness Dragon because they had a lot of penetrate cards. Well, he did at least. And so, to respond to that, I put the Black Dragon shields in. So, game 2, I used the puppets a lot because I was swinging at him for free for 3 crit. Game 2 I got it via the puppets. So game 3 was the most important one, so I messed up. So Chaos has a card that basically says when it's on the field, if it's in the left or right, when the center monster attacks, you kill something. So I took my puppet, rested it, stood Chaos, Chaos swung at him, and then he popped one of my units, and I was like, derp derp, derp derp, derp derp. But then I got him the next turn after.
Oh, okay, so that was like...
And then, what is it? Round 5, I just fought Dragon Swine. But I just out-resourced them, and that was essentially the game. And so, that's basically it.
And then we made it in the top 8 where you fought Purgatory.
Yep, and then I cried a little bit on the inside.
But you went in undefeated though, right?
No, I definitely went in undefeated.
So great, there were only 3 undefeateds going into top 8, and one of them being Mark from Team Place for Days, the Captain. We had a member from Team Total Justice Gaming. It was Trey playing Thunderfang, and then we had Phillip Harris over here playing his Death Dive. Or what'd you name it? What'd you name the damn deck? It wasn't Don't Trouble until Trouble Troubles You.
I don't really know, but I think I was changing the meta. Was the name of the build? So,
as every match it went on.
No, every match it went on. When I played meta decks, I was able to barely squeak by, but I just had him.
So we're gonna call it the Squeaky Sneak. It's gonna be a squeaky, sneaky fart. That's what it is. That's what this deck is. It'll creep up on you like death. All right, guys. So anyway, there we go. He got that nice Oshido flag. There's his 2 golden card because he's got so many golden cards in here. They beat the camera. Okay. All right, guys. There we are. We're in the focus again. That's Phillip Harris.
All right, guys. Catch
This
you later.
is Opie from Team Place for Days. Later, homies.